I want to introduce another story because DNA, as we know, has changed the landscape of criminal cases. That started about 30 years ago, and because of it, some 349 convictions have been overturned here in the U.S. DNA was the piece of the puzzle that would help set Clarence Elkins free. This is his story.
June 7th, 1998, on a Sunday morning, I heard a car door and walked out my back door to see who may have pulled in my driveway. And here it was law enforcement that had surrounded my property. I was handcuffed, and they wouldn't let me go back into the house, wouldn't let me around my family. My two sons, 11 and 13, wouldn't let me around my wife at that time. I was arrested for the murder and rape of my mother-in-law, Judy Johnson, as well as attempted murder and 3 counts of rape of her 6-year-old grandchild. They told me that the 6-year-old niece allegedly had identified me as the attacker. I was ultimately convicted a year later and sentenced to 55 years to life. 7 years being incarcerated. I was told by my wife then that possibly the actual perpetrator was in the same prison as I was, and that if there was a chance that possibly I could get some sort of DNA evidence. So I got to know what he looked like and who he was. I seen him standing up, getting ready to walk away, putting a cigarette butt out, and so I quickly got it out of the ashtray. I mailed out the cigarette butt secretly, and my attorney told me we got a 99.9 match with the cigarette butt and the undergarments and the vaginal swab from the crime scene. I believe it was in 2004. My wife at that time reached out to the Ohio Innocence Project. They took over my case. It took them to straighten this mess out. The DNA evidence was mentioned on national TV. That's when I was very concerned as well for my safe being, so they moved me to solitary confinement. I was in solitary confinement for approximately 3 months, and before I finally walked out of the prison for good.
We'll meet Clarence when we come back.